All right. It I think it says I'm live. Okay. Hi everybody. I am here. Yes, it says I'm live. It is working. It is on. I am Kirsten Peck and welcome to my homeroom for success. As usual here, I'm playing with the lights and my glasses. I'm sorry, I am not the super professional models and people who've been trained on doing these kinds of things. I'm getting better at it as I go, I hope. Anyway, hi. I am a high school English teacher, and usually I'm teaching freshman English, and maybe that's part of why I'm not so with it all the time here on my YouTube channel, because I'm new to YouTubing. Because I'm used to working with students, and typically I work with freshmen. I think they're my favorite, and yet the freshman year I think is the hardest year in high school. The transitions that are happening with teenagers when they're 14 years old, when those hormones are raging and really kicking in, and a lot of students have gone from a middle school, maybe a smaller middle school, and now they're in a much larger high school. That's typically what most schools are like. As you go from elementary to middle school to high school, each school gets bigger. And so these freshmen are wandering around in high school, and they're the babies of the program, and it's a challenging year, definitely. And I've seen it as a teacher. I work with it in that regard because I'm trying to assess the skills that students were supposed to have learned in middle school, were supposed to have learned in middle school compared to where they need to be now that they're in high school, and ultimately where they need to be in order to graduate. And so, as an English teacher, it's a very critical year for students. And over the years, I've had students that have struggled, and I sit in parent meetings and the parents just shrug and they don't know what to do with the kids. There's problems, lots of different reasons for them. And really, the reasons for the problems sometimes are not really what's important. What the real point is for me as the teacher, and for me now as I'm kind of getting more into like growth coaching and mindset coaching, is that you have to learn how to move past whatever happened in the past, whatever the trauma was, or whatever the slight was, or whatever you might have had to repeat a grade, or whatever that might have been. That's in the past. And learning how to move forward past that is a skill that people really need to learn. And it takes practice, and it takes focus, And so I put together this program. It's 31 days. And the idea is a little bit of work every day can really make a big change in someone's life. And so the challenge is to work about 15 minutes a day, reading and writing and thinking about yourself and the future that you want to have, and learning some skills or practicing some skills during these 31 days to set you on a course for greatness and where you really want to be in life. So it's called the Smart Start Challenge. And I'm here every day in my homeroom talking about it because the project's been developing. And it is a startup. I've been working on this over the summer. I decided to take my trainings and put them into a program. And actually, it's a handbook, as I've put it together as this challenge with everyday activities that you have to work through and get through as the month goes on. So every day here, I'm sharing some of the things, because what happens in the challenge is basically what happens in life. And much like this startup business, you have plans, and you set out the goals for what you want to accomplish, and you look at the resources, and you look at the different timing and the money and all the different things that go into making a project. And so as I'm going through this, one of the topics today, I'm looking at the point card, and I'm scoring and double checking the scoring because the handbook now is going to press very soon. And the thing that caught my eye was about the standards that you set and how your own internal need to be successful in your own level of accomplishment and that own recognition of the work that goes into it, that quality and that level is something that you have to establish yourself, and you establish it for yourself, and that the high school or the school system can put a grade on it. They can say, if you can do this level of mathematic problems, then you're in this percentile of having an A or having a 90%, or, some recognition of being able to do some skill, but in your own sense of like, is that enough? And are you happy with the 90, or do you have to have the not 100? Or are you, when you have the 70, is that going to be okay? No, I really need to have that 90, 95, or 100, that decision making. And it's funny when it applies to life, because it's something like keeping your room clean, and whether or not you think it's important to keep your room clean, and the value that you put on having a clean room, and the feeling that you get when you go into your room and it's nice and clean, and that standard or that level of, I want it to be nice. I want my space to be nice. And so I'm going to put in the work because my standard is going to be high, and that's how I'm going to roll. That's how I'm going to go and approach life, is having this higher standard. And people, I think, I don't know if it's lazy or if they just fall into this sort of like, it doesn't matter standard. And I'm really frustrated with that in our society today, and how many people are just like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, it does matter. Yes, I think things matter like that. Because if you let one go, then what's the next one going to be? So back to the idea of your room, and that just came to my mind because I'm sitting here in my homeroom, working in my homeroom for success here, and I'm thinking about the level of how it looks and how I have it organized, and the fact that I've put together, and this is funny in the room rater things, I'm trying to get my cute little space, and I'm trying to get the lighting set right, because I want it to be at a certain level, and I want it to be well done. I don't want to be sloppy and looking totally goofy, and that's not what I want to portray. So I have to put in the work, and I have to make that happen, and that those decisions, and it's how you get dressed in the morning, and what clothes you put on, and whether or not you brush your hair and brush your teeth. I mean, those are things that you should be doing just to be healthy, but you also take pride in doing that and being like, oh yeah, in fact, I went and put on my necklace today because I like my necklace and I think it looks nicer. And that's sort of like, things that you do because you want it to be at a higher, certain successful level. And it comes through in everything. The food you put into your body. If you're eating junk, you're going to feel bad. That's the way it works. If you don't sleep, guess what? You're not going to be able to be performing at your highest level. And so you're not going to be getting a good grade. You're not going to be able to figure out what's going on in school, all because you wanted to stay up at night and chat with your friends. Again, this is back to these priorities and back to what are you going to focus on and what's your standard going to be? Are you going to live that moderately, just get by, C-level, average, whatever life? That's perfectly fine. There's no problem. There's no problem with that. That's what you want, but that's not the way it has to be. And I guess that's the point that I'm at, and where I'm at here with this challenge, and why I made the challenge is that people get stuck in something, or they've gotten wounded, or they've been hurt, or something happened, or the trauma. The word that they're using a lot is trauma these days. Well, I had trauma when I broke my arm. That was an extreme trauma, trying to go through the next 6 weeks of life, or 12 weeks, or however long it was. I can't remember. It was a while ago. But that was a thing, and that you have to get past it. You can't let that hold you back. So the standards, and keeping your standards high, and shooting for the best, and that's where then you'll be. And that when you just kind of let it go and it doesn't matter, then you're going to just fall out and it's just not going to happen. And years will pass, and at some point you'll come across this again and you'll say, oh, wait a minute, I remember Ms. Peck telling me that. Oh, yeah, hello. It doesn't have to be that way. And so everybody that hears me and anybody that sees this video, please, your life doesn't have to be that way. You can shoot for the stars, and I can show you how to get there. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. So that's what I'm about. This is the Smart Start Challenge, and I'm challenging you to get the best start on your future that you can. Get started right now. Go visit my website, get in the challenge, askmspeck.com. Go on Amazon. The book's going to be there any day now, I promise. It's the Smart Start Challenge right here. YouTube, my website, Amazon, all those places, okay? And I'm here every day for my homeroom at 3 o'clock here in Florida. So tomorrow I'll be back and with another topic to talk about, because today it's all about your standards. And if you keep them up high, then you'll be successful and you'll have those higher levels of standards and success, because that's how you roll and where you are. And that's what you're about. I know I'm not accepting anything less than the best ever. And that's just me. That's my standard. That's where I'm at. So you can be like that too. Join me. Smart Start Challenge. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.